Hey everybody, what's up? This is Ashley from the Cool Ass Black Woman podcast. I am super excited because I have one of my longtime friends here.
Hey.
It's Craig, y'all. It is Craig. Oh my gosh, we were just talking about when we met, and that was what, 2011?
2011-ish, yeah.
I was an intern somewhere around that time. I was an intern at Interscope, so It's been a long time coming. But I wanted to introduce you to the legend. We're gonna get there. The legend, the myth. How do they say it? The myth, the man, the legend, or
all of that crazy stuff. I don't know if I'm any of that, but thank you.
I do think so. But yes. So, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's been a long time coming. You've seen me grow, blossom from an intern.
Yes.
And to get us to here, now you're sitting with me at the Cool Ass Black Woman podcast. So this is, to me, in a sense, a full circle moment because my career literally started when we met.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen a lot of things in me that I haven't seen I didn't see in myself for a while, and now I'm living up to those things. So I'm super excited for you to share your journey. Obviously you're going to share your journey through your lens with me, and I'm going to do the same as well. And I want people to know and take away from this conversation what it's really like going through the business. I mean, how long have you been in the business?
I have been working on the business side of music for 22 years this June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so tell the people about yourself. Introduce yourself to the Cool Ass Black Woman mania. Our people.
Oh my God. So first of all, as Ashley said, my name is Craig Baylis, and I was born in Queens, New York, to a Panamanian mom and father and family. Raised in Los Angeles the majority of my life. I started out in the business as a professional dancer, which was an accidental pivot from my first dream and aspiration, which was to be a working actor. You didn't know that.
Mm-mm.
That was my first ambition in junior high and high school. I found the arts as a remedy to my troublesome behavior in school because I was always in class, trying to, gain some attention from my classmates and friends and pissing the teacher off. I wasn't trying to piss the teacher off, but I was pissing the teacher off, but I was pissing my mom and my dad off more. So I was trying to find myself, and I couldn't find myself. And I grew up, with my siblings. My closest brother is a celebrated athlete from high school, track and basketball. And I grew up playing basketball. I grew up in Robertson Park in Los Angeles, playing basketball, but that wasn't my thing. I could dribble the ball with my right hand really, really well. If you try to send me to my left, I'm done.
You get crossed over.
So I couldn't. So I'm trying to find myself, and growing up in an impressionable environment, with my childhood friends and my brother and stuff like that, but still not able to find myself and recognizing that every time I get in trouble in school. But there was something that was burning inside of me, which was creativity, which was the performing arts, which was theater arts, and I found that in school. Primarily in high school, El Camino Real High School in Woodland Hills, now called El Camino Real Charter High School, and found the theater arts program while I was in a track team. And I just remember one day the track coach, I had to leave practice because I had to go to rehearsal, and my super duper Italian jock coach was basically, in so many words, he was like, are you going to put these spikes on, or are you going to put some Capizios on? Okay, and Capizios are soft leather dance shoes. So he was like, you need to figure out which one of these you want to do. And for me, that was a kind of a kind of a important moment for me, because as a kid that had been getting suspended at least once a year, every year from third grade all the way through 10th grade.
Suspended?
Oh, suspended. Every year from third grade through 10th grade, I got suspended at least once a year. Now understand, I grew up in a household with both my mom and my dad, an environment of solitude, so I don't have, one of those stories where I was troubled because trouble was brought to me at home. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the situation. I was trying to find myself. And now, 10th grade-ish, 9th grade-ish, something like that, I'm in a position where I'm in 2 extracurricular activities. I have the academic qualifications to choose, and I'm trying to do both, trying to be an athlete, but still really interested in the performing arts. And I've been posed with a choice, and I chose. And I chose theater arts, and I was like, my brother got the track thing, and he really did have that. And I wasn't nowhere near an athlete as he was. So I picked my lane, and that has been my lane since then, for the most part. And that's how I got into the performing arts. And my next, my immediate ambition as an adult was to pursue the arts further as an actor, and graduated from high school and started figuring out what that was in the dance industry, specifically for Black and brown folks. The door blew wide open in the 80s and 90s, and I was able to rush into that door with a bunch of people, names that many of you may be familiar with, but I was fortunate enough to sneak into that door, and no one kicked me out. And ended up, on the road for 7 years. I danced for Johnny Gill on tour from 90 through 97. I was a choreographer and a dance instructor as well. I choreographed Boyz II Men. I choreographed Shawnice, and a host of others. Was in music videos, some notable music videos, some obscure music videos. And I taught dance as well, and that was my life as a touring dancer for 7 years, as a working dancer represented by reputable agencies in town for about 7-8 years. And then I taught for 10 years, and I got up there in my 20s and was like, I don't know how long this is going to last. And part of what caused that was my brother was graduating from college, my best friends, all who were in college and played some form of organized sports, graduating from school. And then there's me, the dancer, that's barely going to college. So I made a decision. I had an epiphany one night that woke me up in the middle of the night, and I'm staring at the ceiling, and I'm like, yo, what next? Because you're dancing, you're in music videos that are on TV every day. You're on TV every now and then. You've been around the country a couple of times, primarily with Johnny Gill, and I did a couple of other tours. But I've been around the country, so I accomplished some pretty cool stuff in my 20s, but I was still broke, like broke. Like,
they weren't paying at that time?
I don't think, I don't think at the time that myself and my professional peers in dance and choreography at the time, I don't think we understood the economy of the business. We enjoyed the opportunity. So the last thing we were negotiating was our own economics. What we were negotiating was the opportunity, and accomplishing, booking a job, and and procuring that gig. That was the pay for many of us. And if I'm speaking out of turn, that was the pay for me. And it didn't make any sense. It didn't make sense to any of my loved ones. although they were proud to see me in the places that they saw me. But so were they paying at the time? I think at that time the industry took advantage of, our ignorance. Yeah.
We were just talking about that. Yes. Well, when I actually interviewed Chuck, and we were talking about how, going from why interning was very important, because interning will get you a job. But then while kids now are looking at internships and you got to be paid, we were just doing things. And we were just doing things because we knew that would put us in position, not necessarily for the money. So in a sense, it kind of bites us in the ass on the back end, because you really don't know how to, I wouldn't say, go after your rate, but like just knowing what people are really going after.
Yeah. It's, this now, and I feel like we've had numerous conversations about this, but, it takes some of us a while to recognize what our value is. And our value, when I'm talking about our value, I'm not just talking about the symbolism of value. I'm talking about what I am doing for you and the time that it takes me to do this for you, and how this is going to be viable financially for you.
Correct.
So this is why I need to be compensated, this amount. It takes us a while to learn that. And there are people in decision-making positions that understands that there's many of us, certainly the 20-something-year-old me, that they're not in the social services business. So they're not going to sit around and try to educate you about the value of what you just did. I've told this story before, and I'm happy to share it in 2026. I was at a play. I was a lead actor in an award-winning play in Leimert Park at Marla Gibbs Crossroads Theater. And I got a call from my mentor, I got a page in between scenes. And I remember walking outside to return his call, and he called me to come to Philadelphia to work on Boyz II Men's tour. It was Boyz II Men's first tour. And he's like, I'll send your plane ticket on such and such a day. Call me tomorrow. That's what it was. Called him the next day. He was like, hey, about to put this tour together. Boyz II Men's about to go on the road with Jodeci and MC Hammer. And I need somebody to come in as an associate choreographer. Are you available? I wasn't available, but that thing about opportunity, yes, I am available. I had an understudy for the play. I think it was a mistake for me to have left that play, but my acting career was not as a for sure shot as my dance career. And I love Boyz II Men. It was like, what? So you gonna send me a plane ticket? Sent me a plane ticket, got me a hotel room, and I was in the studio with Boyz II Men in a matter of days. And I worked with them for a couple of weeks, almost up to a month, I think it was, and helped choreograph their tour with my then mentor, Brooke Payne.
Wow. Talking
about value, today, Boyz II Men is on tour with New Edition for the first time ever. And Tony Braxton's on that tour. And the choreography that I had designed back then, they're still doing today.
No way.
And I discovered it. Because I'm still an advocate. I'm a staunch advocate of New Edition, the New Edition legacy, and I'm a generational advocate of Boyz II Men, because those, I felt like, I envy them when I worked with them, because we were about the same age, and it's like, man, y'all about to blow up. We look just like each other. That was my thought was, like, if I were an artist, I would be them, right? And now I'm choreographing them thanks to, to Brooke, but I got paid $600 for that job. And that's not a knock on Brooke, and that's not a knock on...
That's just what...
It's just...
What it was?
Today, having worked in the music business for 22 years, Boyz II Men didn't know how much I got paid. I know they didn't. I don't think Motown knew how much I was paid either. And I don't think Brooke meant any harm by paying me what he paid me.
Mm-hmm.
And how could he if I didn't negotiate?
Right.
And what did I negotiate? I negotiated an opportunity to get a paid-for plane ticket to Philadelphia to eat real Philly cheesesteaks every day, as we pretty much almost did.
Mm-hmm.
Had a little, per diem in my pocket. Had my own hotel room. I think we were staying at the Four Seasons, I believe it was. And
had y'all up. Okay.
Yeah, so, but today, I can, I've told the story about getting paid $600. It's not a diss. It is a juxtaposition of my advocacy and involvement in the progression of dancers today and choreographers today. And this is why I am still quietly behind the scenes very much involved in the industry of dance and choreographers, because of the experience that I had back then. And that experience didn't lend me a bitter taste. That experience taught me to make sure that I do what I can to ensure that it doesn't happen to anybody else. So, but again, that was my experience then. And when I saw them, Sean, Nate, and Wanye on stage doing the choreography to Motown Philly, specifically the breakdown after their first hook of the song.
I low-key want you to do it right now, but we're not going to do that.
Never happened. But to hear the audience respond to that choreography brought tears to my eyes. And it was like, that is specifically the part that Brooke beat me in the head and showed me how to put these steps together so that there will be a reaction from the audience. And
years down the line,
they're doing it today. And he couldn't have paid me enough back then for it to be as valuable, not just to me, but to the legacy of Boyz II Men to this day, right? And the tears in my eyes are symbolic. They're, man, I did that for $600. But that $600 taught me to make sure that never happens to anybody else. Taught me to be part of the conversation and to educate other dancers and choreographers, however I can, to treat what they're doing not as an opportunity, but as a profession.
Understanding what an open door really is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think but to be fair, that's how the business was back then. It was legit based off of experiences and just trying to get yourself in a room. Just trying to get yourself in the room, and really putting yourself out there. I mean, it's just what people have now and what we had is just does not compare. But again, to the experience, it does, because now look what we can walk away with. We could tell these stories. I mean, now I know a lot about you, but that part I didn't know, right? Like, so to know that you had to make that hard decision at that time. Am I gonna do the arts, or am I really about to go out here and dance with Boyz II Men?
Yeah, that was hot for me back then.
Yeah,
Philadelphia, Boyz II Men.
That was the thing. You said Jodeci was on that.
Jodeci was on the tour, and MC Hammer.
See, and MC Hammer was hot.
Oh, he was the headliner. It was too legit to. I think it was the Too Legit to Quit tour. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. I mean, and again, so you've had to make a lot of. Wow. Okay. So you had to make a lot of pivotal changes in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get too far, because this moment that we're talking about do you think you're a legend?
Wow.
Because we don't even have to go any further than what we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You just said some odd years later, the people in the audience are still doing the dance to something that you created, Motown Philly. Like,
do I think no. I appreciate that question. I don't look at myself like that. I don't look in the mirror and like, I look in the mirror and I look in the mirror and I have confidence when I'm looking, and my self-esteem is fairly intact. But I don't look at myself as a legend. I'll let people that know and recognize anything that I've done in collaboration with them or as a contributor to what they've done. I'll let them, define how they see me.
mm-hmm.
And I haven't done.
Do you feel like that's too much clout?
What, to be a legend?
Not clout, but just too much honor, too much power.
No. I have to work on. I have to cure myself of self-deprecation, right? I've heard this term about performative humility lately. I'm not that dude, right? I cringe at the lengths people go to snatch their flowers, and the lengths that people go to possess a title. And in order to behave like that, you have to excuse yourself of some humility. And I'm not that type of dude. I think I wield a level of confidence. I generally don't walk into rooms with my chin down, and I could be the brokest person in the room, but you're not going to know that. I learned that from my dad. So, am I a legend? I don't look at myself like that at all. Most of the people watching this probably have no idea who the hell I am. Okay.
But most documentaries that we've seen on Netflix, some of the people that have documentaries and people look up to, we don't know who they are.
That's a fact.
So if you're comparing legend to like a Michael Jackson or a Jay-Z or Beyonce or Tina Marie,
I'm out of my league. If I'm comparing myself to these,
Right. But you gotta think.
superstars.
But think about the music business, or just think about you just in the arts and dancing. Like, just people know you for something.
Can I? So I'll tell you who. As a dancer, some of the most pivotal experiences that I've had as a performer were designed by my observation of people behind the scenes. So I'm not comparing myself to these people at all, but these people were deeply admired by me, and some of them, if not most of them, probably have no idea. Okay. Clarence Avant is probably the most prolific, influential, decision maker, cultural leader, arts purveyor, and businessman that I've ever met. And I met him because he was, affiliated to Johnny Gill. That's the only way that I met him. I always admired him. I felt like he resembled my father, and my dad was. I would leave home with my mom and my dad and go to rehearsals or wherever, and then there would be this guy that kind of was dark skinned like my dad,
They have gray hair that
walked
time.
in with a level of authority. So I admired him. I admired Gerald Busby back then, who was the head of Motown. Troy Carter, who's behind Meghan Trainor and a host of others. L.A. Reid. I got fired by TLC. Pebbles hired me back in 1991-ish, 92-ish, something like that, to choreograph them. And they had no idea that she hired a choreographer. She basically hired me and assigned me to them. They had no say-so. So that was just all bad. And if you know the history of TLC and their relationships, business-wise or whatever, then you would understand how I got caught up in that quagmire. But nevertheless, L.A. Reid was the co-founder of LaFace Records that gave us a generation of music that we'll never forget. I've had the opportunity to work with him. I don't think I've ever told him this or whatever, but I've always admired him. He's the only reason why I moved to New York in 2013 when I got hired at Epic Records. Oh, yeah. I was literally sold on working at Epic Records, under the tutelage of the person that's running the label, and it was L.A. Reid, and that's why I went.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are these people that I admired as a dancer. I was like, man, I think I'd rather be doing at least something close to what they're doing. That was it.
Yeah.
Because this ain't paying the bills, and it's not even about the money. I want to do something significant. I think the decisions that it took to get this video budgeted and into production is where I want to be. The decisions that it took to devise this marketing plan, what people call rollouts today, I want to be part of that conversation. And it seems like Gerald, Clarence, L.A. Reid, Troy Carter, Big John, who am I missing? I'm not missing anybody. I can't name everybody, but these are figures that I admired. I've admired Jimmy Iovine as well, right? Rick Rubin as well. Most people don't know who Rick Rubin is. If you're in the music business, you know who Rick Rubin is. And it's because he's quiet and you don't know all of what he's done.
But would you call him a legend?
Because we know what he's done is legendary based on pop culture's definition of legend.
Okay.
He sits on his own Mount Rushmore as far as I'm concerned. That's Rick Rubin now.
Yeah,
right. So these type of figureheads, Berry Gordy as well, how dare I forget, these type of figureheads, I was able to observe them from behind the scenes, and they inspired me to consider doing something else, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it would be behind the scenes, which is never where I really want to be. But it just it worked, and that's how I was like, I think it's time for me to hang up my dancing shoes. I don't want my dancing shoes to be snatched off my feet. And it happens to a lot of us. And if you don't devise a plan, an exit plan from dance, you're not going to be in your 50s dancing for Kendrick. You're not. You're not. I don't.
It's a true statement, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth.
So if I ever made, a couple of good decisions in life that were life-changing, that was for the better, one of the decisions was not to depart dance, but was to make a transition in the business so that I will always love dance.
So and you're still in it. And literally, you're still in it. So how did you transition from dance into the music industry, though? Like that, because what you had to have in that space in the music industry to be behind the scenes was not what you had to have for dance. Meaning, like, you had to have a certain type of skill to dance, And to go back here and then back to do marketing, A&R, all of the things, you had to know what you were doing.
So let me tell you the truth, as we've always done.
Not you lied.
I don't know. I don't know what my first thing was, I think I should go to college. I think that would be, I can buy some time if I go to college.
Thanks.
Right? And having traveled around the world and certainly the country extensively, I think at this point I'd been to like 44 states by age 26, 27, I'd been like 44 states, like 100 cities. That was with Johnny Gill, and I was on the Power Rangers World Tour. I sure was. We ain't gonna talk about that. We'll stop that right there. But
can I get a picture so I can just put it in?
Nope. In fact, I'm gonna give you a picture.
Yeah, I have to drop it in there.
So I was on their live tour that traveled, that was on the East Coast and the West Coast, and we hit every major arena in this country. Power Rangers was really big in the 90s. Really huge. You should remember. But anyway, at that point, around 97, the last tour that I had done, I was on tour with New Edition. If you've seen the New Edition story on BET, I think it's the second and third episode. You guys name it. I haven't seen it in a while, but they chronicle the guys on their reunion tour where they all had their own bus, where they were, there were scenes. I'm not going to say all of the entire thing was like true to facts. I saw mostly everything. It was a great show, but when the guys were fighting backstage, when somebody shot a gun and just all the stuff that you saw, I was there for that in 97, right? And I went on that tour as a dancer. Bobby had his dancers. BBD had their dancers. Ralph Tresvant had his dancers, and Johnny had his dancers. Johnny eventually, arrived at his maturity as a professional and realized that it was overkill to have dancers. And my peers, my dance partners, who I nothing but respect for them, Brooke was the manager at the time, Brooke Payne, who hired me for Boyz II Men. He knew that I had some ambitions to do other things. So Johnny decided to send his dancers home. Let's keep it a buck. The movie kind of exposed this. The guys have talked about this before, but they were hemorrhaging financially in that tour. Like no one made any money in that tour. Won't get too far up into that. But Johnny saw it. He saw the writing on the wall, sent his dancers home. And Brooke calls me, pulls me to the side, and he's like, "Hey, Johnny's going to send his dancers home, but we're trying to figure out a way to keep you on the road." And I was like, my stomach dropped and then picked right back up. And I'm like, okay, what does that look like? He was like, yo, you know how to read BDS? BDS was called Broadcast Data Systems. You remember that. You were an intern. Do you know how to read BDS? He was like, you need to learn how to read BDS. And Michael Bivins had a brood of artists, Boyz II Men being one, 702, and a host of others, and they had projects coming out, and they needed to promote those projects, and they wanted to promote them in every city that New Edition was going to. And then Johnny had an album coming out called Let's Get the Mood Right. So all of this is Motown, and Brooke was like, hey, so what you could do is maybe you could do some administrative work on the tour, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Motown send out promotional merchandise,
and
for you to have distributed at every arena in the venue.
Makes sense to me.
So in a weird way, I'm like, I think Brooke was looking at me as he saw me staring at the Gerald Busbys and the Clarence Avants and all these decision makers that were behind the scenes. And he was like, what do you think about that? And I was like, I felt more satisfied with that opportunity. And I did that. And when I did that, I ended up doing a couple of other things on the tour that benefited the members. And then it got really competitive. And I was like, let me get out the way. But everybody on the team showed me love
coming in
that regard. And that felt good. And I was like, I want to do more of that. So after that tour, I was like, man, I need to figure out a transition. And I called up every single record label. At the time, you can call up a job hotline. And I called up every job hotline. And I, looking for an opportunity, just an assistant gig. And every one of those gigs was like, you need to have a Bachelor of Arts degree or a master's degree or a JD. Every one of those gigs. And I was like, and all I'm thinking about is like, man, all of my best friends can get one of these jobs. But me. And I was like, my brother can get this job. He don't even work in the business. My boys can get this job. And I'm like, I can't even call them because I don't have that credential. And that's when I was like, I need to go to, man, you know what? I think I want to go to a black college.
Oh, so that's when you went back to school. That's
when I went back to school. The time that I was dancing for Johnny, that 7-year period, those weren't 50 plus weeks, 365 years. Those were like a couple of months and then go back home and be broke. So I would go back home and teach dance class and, do music videos and stuff like that. And I would work, but still, it was still struggle. I would go take a class or two at the junior college to keep myself busy rather than sitting at home, pulling my hair out, waiting for my agent to page me for an
say something else.
And I also did that because my dad didn't understand the wait for the next gig. My dad understood the opportunity, but he didn't understand, like, it's hard to explain the entertainment business to people that aren't in the entertainment business. And my dad and my mom, they're intuitive people or whatever, but it was like, let me do something that'll make them happy. So I would just take a class here and there, and I was totally bullshitting with those classes. But I started taking them seriously, and I ended up with like 42 units. And so when I decided to go to college, I was like, I'm going to a black college. The first college that I thought about was Morehouse College, but I had never taken the SAT. I don't think I was academically qualified, at least at the time, and I'd been fairly departed from high school at that point. So I was going into college as a non-traditional college student. And I ended up applying to Southern University. I had a girlfriend at the time that I met when she came home from school for the summer, and she was going to Southern. And on our first date, we sat in her car. We sat in my car in front of her mom's crib, talking about her experience at Southern University.
And how did she like it?
Well, let me say this. I love that question. Like I said, at that point, I'd been around the country. Like, I've done things that most of us will never be able to do. I've seen places that when people talk to me about this country, I can have that conversation with you because I've seen this country. I've been to those truck stops where we've been through those towns. So, and then I'm performing on stages I performed at Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, the United Center in Chicago, Miami Arena. I can keep going if you want me to. At that point, I had done some pretty cool stuff. But when my girlfriend at the time, Nicole, told me about Southern University, it trumped anything that I had done. Oh yeah, it trumped anything I had done, because there was not just the experience, but it's the accomplishment that's happening in the midst of the experience. And as a young black man at the time that was bussed out to Woodland Hills, which I wouldn't change for anything in the world, junior high and high school, predominantly non-black, schools, having walked the campus of Howard University, having walked through the AUC and just looking at
different.
The so-called black experience, and growing up in a Caribbean household where soul food was not on the menu, and somebody telling me that you can do this every day in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And in the interim, you'll be finishing college. When Nicole sold that to me, it trumped anything I'd ever done. And I was like, and that's what fed me the epiphany, like weeks later, the middle of the night. And I was like, I'm going to go to college. So the first place that I had gone and met with a guidance counselor was actually Cal State University of Dominguez.
Shout out to Dominguez.
And that's because my brother was just finishing up at Cal State at Dominguez.
Go Toros.
And that meeting was in vain because I wasn't inspired at all. Had nothing to do with the school, but I wasn't there. But then Nicole assisted me in applying at Southern University, and I applied, and they asked for my transcripts if I had any, and I submitted my 42 hours from West Los Angeles College, and they accepted 36 of those 42, which would enable me to transfer as a sophomore.
So you had to start off as a freshman.
And I'd never applied for college. I didn't know what financial aid was. I didn't know about any of that stuff because I had never aspired to go to college. That wasn't even. It's like y'all do that. I'm in the business. The business doesn't even promote formal education. At least at that time. So they accepted those 36 hours, and it was like, when I remember reading the information, I was like, wait, did I just get accepted to college? That was my thought. That's how naive I was about college. And it was like, and I read it again, spoke to Nicole. Nicole's like, you got accepted. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
And then I started focus grouping the idea of me going to college to family members and to my friends, and nobody thought I was serious.
You're not about to go to no college. You ain't do that. You about to go over here and do what the
That's exactly. And not that they didn't think I could do it, but it was like, dude, you're not leaving LA. You're not, and the two people, the two entities that I didn't speak to was my commercial agent at the time. I had the best commercial agent in the business at the time. It was an agency called Abrams, Rubeloff, and Lawrence. They're now called Abrams today. And I was with the Bobby Ball agency. I didn't tell them because I was in contract with them.
Right.
And it was like,
if I tell them, then they might not.
They're gonna drop me. And what if an opportunity comes up that's like, Craig, you need to fly home now. You booked this without an audition. So I was like, let me just try to wing it. So it's worth the risk. I'm not gonna say anything. So I got accepted, and I, drove east to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and that began the transition from dance to the music industry. And what I set out to do was I set out to refine my skill sets so that if I get an opportunity in the music business, it's not going to be because I used to dance for somebody. No one gives a damn about that. I mean, it's a cool story. I still like telling it to this day, but I knew that I felt like if I'm going to get a shot, and if these people that I've mentioned earlier, of their stature, are who they are, then I at least got to put the effort in to make sure that I'm at least qualified to just get a chance. I don't want to be these people. I don't know what's going on in their life. I just want to work in the place that they work. That's all I wanted. So for me, So I went to college and I graduated, and I got there in '98, and I was very serious. I think I kind of got a little bit unserious when I got initiated into the fraternity, and I started having a little bit of fun. I was having fun anyway, but on a black college campus,
It's different.
it's just
It's different.
It's a different experience,
It's
and
different.
the grades that got me into the fraternity were not the grades that I maintained when I joined the fraternity. And
That was alpha.
yeah,
Just to let y'all know if y'all was wondering.
that's those guys. For sure. So graduated in 2000, moved back to LA in 2001, and I thought that the music industry would care that this guy that was in these music videos that were theirs, and also has the college degree that they told me I need to have, I thought that they would care, and that was a lie.
They didn't care at all.
They don't care about it. The human resources department says that you need to have these things, but human resources departments do not hire people at record companies. People hire people at record companies. And that's how I've been hired, and HR has never had anything to do with it. And it was the most trying I got back in 2001. It was the most trying three plus years of my life. Like, I would never wish that experience on anybody. I'm happy I had the experience that I had, because I had my dad was deceased at that time, at that point, but I had my siblings, I had my mother, I had my best friends. I had a hell of a support team, but they didn't know that I was damn near suicidal many, many days, because I felt like I made a mistake. And now I'm at home looking at the music videos that I used to be in, not making any of that money, and watching my peers still thrive in that space. And I thought I was cool by going away to college and that someone would care. So I was dealing with that. Like, my faith was twisted.
Well, that's actually that's still a real thing today, to this day. When I went to school to get my master's at Clark Atlanta University, I was a part of a cohort,
Congrats to you.
Thank you. I was a part of a cohort, but I decided to stay another year because I still wanted that HBCU experience. But one of the things that I heard a lot coming out of the cohort that I was originally with was, I can't find a job. This ain't that. Yeah, this is not what I thought. Like, I'm trying to figure out where the money is at. And it's just like, I hate to tell you, but that's not what our lives is set up for. That's what they tell you that you're supposed to do, but it's not a real thing. So it's really have to put your foot down on the pavement to figure out what you really want to do and really dive into it. And really dive into it. That's a big thing. And, I still recommend people go to college.
Oh, I'm a staunch advocate of education, of formal education, and I'm a staunch advocate of social education as well. You don't need a school to be educated,
right?
But so I'm a staunch advocate of education, because I know what it did for me,
right,
and I know how it still applies to everything that I, pursue to this very day.
That's a fact. Yeah, because like, even we were talking earlier about AI, and it's not about what the prompt that you put in there. It's about the implementation after you get after you receive the information from the AI. So it's like, if you don't know how to implement that, then what are you good for? But to me, and I'm sure to you too, what I learned in college, that showed me how to implement what's happening now, and how we're going to be around for a longer time span than the current generation, because they're learning how to do something, and they think that replacing college and what life really looks like with AI is going to get them somewhere, when it's really not.
We'll see.
We'll see. Right.
We'll see. And the reason why I say we'll see, because if we look at the current leadership of our beloved United States, the way that education is being manhandled is creating an opportunity for people to dismiss the necessity of formal education. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I agree with you. There are people. Listen, we have so much technology at our fingertips today, and the technology that we have at our fingertips takes us wherever we need to go to learn whatever we need to learn. I know for a fact that in order for me to receive education, I have to put an effort in. I have to show up. Mm-hmm. Okay, and people are becoming millionaires from their phones. So that's technology. Technology is doing its damn thing, and I'm happy to be witnessing it, and I'm happy to be trying to participate in it as well. But the doctors, the scientists, the attorneys, the engineers, the architects, the thought leaders, mm-hmm. Many entrepreneurs, the inventors, their story will not be erased by modern technology. And what I mean by that is that they are all, they're all symbols of, most of them are symbols of formal education. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love Shaquille O'Neal because Shaquille O'Neal has been this overzealously ambitious pursuer of so many things.
So innovative.
Right. And it's because he appears to be an advocate of education as well. Right. In an environment where education is being erased. Right.
Wiped away.
Right. So, Shaquille is of my generation, so I don't want to sound like an old head saying this, but Yara Shahidi, mm-hmm. another one, mm-hmm. She's not of my generation or whatever. There's value in pursuing and receiving formal education. There's value in sitting before a thought leader. Thought leaders, the number one thought leaders in the country are dedicated professors and educators. That's who they are. And to humble yourself and to commit yourself to sitting down and recording their lecture, okay, or having it transcribed digitally, mm-hmm. or writing notes for those that still do, that value will never be erased. I'm not going to let someone like Charlemagne and the information. And this, no, I don't no disrespect, but Charlemagne is an intelligent guy that reads. He's an advocate of reading books, and he goes and he pursues information. But I'm not going to let his pursuit be the holy grail. Right. People still need to go to college.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
People still need to do what Envy did. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. This is why I like the juxtaposition of both of them. Okay. You have someone that's like not, a symbol of college, and you have someone that's like first generation. I can relate to that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So when I say I'm not going to let Charlemagne be the leader in the space of going to get it or whatever, I'm saying that there are different routes that you can take, and formal education is going to always be an unfailing route.
Facts. I still champion for the people going to school. Mm-hmm. But granted, you can definitely make a lot of money off your phone sitting in not Russell Simmons. His is it? No, not Russell. What was his brother?
Oh, Run.
There you go. It's sitting in the bathtub.
Oh yeah.
Doing this.
Yeah. But what we saw him like he's doing Run was conducting business. He's also a reverend as well.
Right.
But he's one of those people that pursued education. to some degree. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah. That's I just figure, like, do you think it's important, especially, being that you had to pivot mm-hmm. a few times in your journey, mm-hmm. and, coming from the arts to the music industry, that's not normal. It's crazy. Don't try it at home.
No, because like for me, like when I went from the music industry doing music to mm-hmm. production to marketing, those are 3 different pivots. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Not the same. Yeah. Not the same.
Yeah.
And I want to say between, what was it? production and marketing is when I think I even called you and I was like, hey, what does life look like when you pivot? Because it's hard. I don't know, like, what do you do? Are you supposed to go get a job? Or are you just supposed to sit this out? Or what do you, like, and you literally legit was like, listen, I've had a time in my journey and I worked at Toyota. Like, those are...
best job I ever had.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Toyota was the best job I ever had. Yeah.
And would you say it was the best job because of the experience or what you learned?
Yeah.
Humility.
Oh, the humility, that wasn't a concern because, you know, I told you about, you know, my absent faith in 2001, 2, 3, and 4 when I'm just like applying to jobs.
Right.
And nobody's responding. No one's responding. That was a portion of my life. I ended up getting my first job in 2004 at Warner Brothers Records. That was a huge success for me. And note, you know, the goal was not to work in the business. The goal was to see if I can get a job in the business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I got the job, and I've been in the business for 22 years now. Now, about Toyota, the music business has been an unstable industry for since the early 2000s. And some of us, you know, we all do different things to stay employed. I've always been a willfully, you know, employed individual.
Mm-hmm.
But I take my work seriously. And I've gotten to a point throughout the years where, you know, I need to work with people that I'm going to learn from. I need to work with people that can teach me stuff. And I definitely have worked with those people. I can name her right now. She knows who she is. I can name him right now. He knows who he is. I don't have to say their name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Toyota, man. Yeah. So sorry about that. So I got emotional when I was like, he knows who he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, Toyota was the best job experience I had because I learned something on that job every day.
Mm.
And not only did I learn something in that job every day, but this Japanese company, they take their professionals and their product seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And because they take them seriously, you can't just come clock in and just be on the clock for 30 years until retirement.
Mm-hmm.
No, you are going to grow in this company and we're going to give you the tools to continue learning. They had a philosophy there called, and I'm paraphrasing it, but there's always an opportunity for improvement. Okay. And I believe it's called Kaizen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a Japanese philosophy. And it is implemented through constant training. We have to know about these products that we're talking to customers about. And when we're talking about Toyota, we're not talking about a dealership. We're talking about the North American headquarters that used to be in Torrance, that's now in Plano, Texas. That job was a result of a tragedy in the entertainment business. And it was my best friend that recognized that I experienced a career tragedy, and he cared about me and was concerned that, you know, that I would be depressed or something like that. And called me up one day and he was like, hey man, do you need to work in the entertainment business or do you just need a check for right now? And I was like, man, I just need a check, man. I want to do something every day. I've received training. I went to college to contribute. Okay. So yes, I want to work in the music business, but I cannot rely on the music business for my survival.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not willing to be and do. I'm not willing to be just any old person to get the job. And also, I don't want to be in the music business. I want to work in the music business and to work seriously because I love music that much. And I love this music resonating to the masses that much. So I want to do that. Right. But, you know, I am bold enough to walk away if I have to walk away. So my best friend was like, hey, man, send me your resume and go on the website and apply for this job and tell me when you do it. And I'm going to see if I can, you know, pass your resume or whatever. And that's how I got the job. I got the job because, you know, I'm a writer. I think you know this. And I wrote a project and I had pitched a project, a docuseries back in 2011 to a Tony Award and Emmy Award winning producer. I don't know how the hell I got in to pitch my first TV project. That was a concept of mine that I'd been, you know, working on for years. But I got the opportunity, and my attorney friend and we go in and we pitched this project, and the project got greenlit on the spot by this guy. And this guy is a well-known individual in the business. And his number two is a Emmy Award winning producer to this day. Okay. And I go in and I pitch this project, and they love the project and ask me, how much money do I want? Do I need staff? Do I need office space? We love this project. We've been pitched projects similar to this, but we've never been pitched anything like this. And basically, I wrote a project from my purview as a professional, but it's not about me. But I was able to shape the creative from the purview of my journey. Again, it was not about me. It was more about the subject matter, the arts. Project got greenlit. 5 days later, we're supposed to talk at the top of the week. They asked me how many episodes I had written. I had 12 episodes at the time. They said, which ones would you like to shoot as pilots? Because we'd like to shoot 2. We'd like to shoot 2, and then we want to go to market. Remember, this is 2011 when Netflix was dying, when Hulu was a who what. Amazon, we really didn't know what Amazon. So the industry was going through a transition, and SVODs wasn't even terminology in the business. So I just wanted my project on BET at the time. And on the spot, they're like, we want to do this and we want to shoot 2 pilots. 5 days later, the owner of the production company, the producer that we pitched to, that greenlit it, he died in his sleep. So,
wow.
So that was it was a hell of a high on the 21st of April. And it was a punch in the gut on the 25th, 26th of April, 2011. So when that happened, one of my best friends, he knew that, and he cared for me. He and his wife, who both work at Toyota, and they were like, hey, send us your resume. You have all the qualifications. You have a degree. They care. You have a degree, and this is all you need. Send it. Sent it, and then I got this job. And I was like, you know what? This is a wrap on everything for now. And I started going to work. I started logging into work at 5:55 in the morning I did that 2011, 12, and 13.
Wow. Oh, so you were there for a while.
Yeah. I was there on a contract that got extended. I was there on a contract that was like 6 months, and then got extended to the full term, 18 months. And then legally, because I refused to take on a permanent position because I still had my foot in the music business. And I didn't want to do that to this serious company in this department that I had become a staple in. You know, and again, I love my job at Toyota. I loved what I did. And let me be clear, I worked in the Lexus division of Toyota. So I was dealing with and working with luxury car dealers and the owners of those cars on a national level. So, you know, so it was a great experience what I did. And, you know, it was the most rewarding job I'd ever done. and they didn't pay nothing near what I had been paid in the music business, but the music business can't even match to the substance I got from that place professionally.
So much.
And
so much you can learn.
Oh yeah. And you're working with people that care about their job, not about how they look.
Or the latest song that just dropped.
And I'm all about all that latest song. I'm all about
but as you come through these doors, you worried about the Toyota.
You're on the same page with everybody.
Yeah,
the person that gets paid 10 times what you get paid still treats you as though, still treats you like they came in the same way you came in. So there was so about the humility that you talked about. I got to bask in humility all day. Don't care about your title, announcements, and all of that fun stuff.
It was a breath of fresh air.
It was. If there's any job that I ever kicked myself in the butt about, that's the one. That's the one. But I knew that I wouldn't be happy. Right? I was happy working there, but I knew that in life I wouldn't have been happy had I not continued to coexist in the world that I come from, which is arts and entertainment.
Was it a hard decision to say, I'm going to Toyota, I'm gonna just do this, I'm gonna go to Toyota and just get this check? Because you essentially, what you're doing is you're taking yourself out of something that you know in totality to say, okay, I need this. Because that was the whole purpose of my phone call. Because it was like, I'm taking myself out of the music industry or entertainment to do something over here. I don't know what this is, but
You chose peace. You chose peace. You chose peace of mind. Okay, I'm going to go here. I'm going to get a check. I'm going to get benefits. I'm going to go into a training class for a month. A real class being taught by professionals in the company that knows what the hell they're talking about. And they're talking about consumer products. Same way we're talking about consumer products in music. It was I can't. Sometimes it's unspeakable. That experience.
It's one of those things that you have to be. There's something that's on the inside of you that you got to pull on. It's what will you do when nobody's looking? And this is what you did when nobody was looking. This was what you had to conquer to say, okay, one, do I want to even go back into this industry? Or do I even want to take myself out of it? Do I want to learn something new? Because you had, at that point, already conditioned yourself into learning new things, education, in some way, shape, or form. So going from school to the music industry and then to Toyota, it wasn't that bad, though.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Like I said, I chose peace. And my first day on the job, I just kind of looked around and I just saw a colorful room of people and different ages, different nationalities and cultural backgrounds, different academic experiences as well. Not everybody had graduated from college, but they, their experience was equivalent to what a college degree was. So it was like everybody, for the most part, in the room. And I just walked in and I just felt the level of peace. So yeah, that humility that you're talking about, like I wasn't humbled by taking that job, but I knew that peace was found there because I saw my best friend who's had an illustrious career there, he and his wife, and still does to this day. And I was fortunate enough for him to extend an olive branch and to do the best that he can. And I represented what he spoke up for in my interviews. I got there and I still have, viable relationships there to this very day because of the work that I did there. So I chose peace. And I think it's hard for people to do that because you also got to be courageous enough. Because you talk about people not looking, you have to look in the mirror and say, do you give a fuck about who's looking? No. The only people...
That's the part.
It's
That's the part people don't know how to do. That it's not that they don't know how, they weren't conditioned to, they had not seen it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they listen. There is nothing wrong with working someplace for 30 years. I know those
Facts.
people, and I admire them deeply. Because quite frankly, I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know that I'm not cut like that, I'm grateful to know that I have people in my life that are cut like that, right?
That can be structured, that can have consistency.
Exactly.
That can,
Exactly. I respect them. But I also know that, that entrepreneurship, founders, they're shaped by a level of courage, and we get punched a lot. Like we take L's, but we're not afraid of those L's. We don't want them; they don't feel good, but we're not afraid of them. But we're not afraid of them because we know that we have the ability to create more W's.
So I was over the weekend I was teaching kids from the Urban League marketing, and wait, why did the L. And one of the things that I told them, I was like, yeah, in this as an entrepreneur, you're gonna take a lot of L's, but I don't see L's as losses. I see them as learning lessons.
Yeah.
So being able to instill that into them at a young age, so they understand that it's not a loss, it's just a lesson, and where you can just work your way up into getting to the best point in your life from these lessons, because that builds foundation.
Yeah, it's very important that children are taught that, because I think there's a misnomer about formal education, namely college. The misnomer is that you're gonna be straight if you go to college, and it's like, no, you're not.
Facts.
That ideology can set you up for grave disappointment. And it's not to say that you shouldn't go to college, but it's to say that, at least I don't recall, and again, I don't recall there being a course in entrepreneurship.
There is now
at Southern University. I'm sure there is today. So I need to do my research, but back in 98, 99.
No, there weren't.
I don't
there
think
were
there
not
was a course in entrepreneurship.
No.
And even if there was a course in entrepreneurship, 99.9% of us were trained to don't take that course, because you're going to get a job. You're going to go work it. You're going to finish. You're going to get your degree. And if it ain't what you want to do, you got Enterprise Rent-A-Car, or you got Sprint. I did work at Sprint at one point.
Or the post office.
Or the post office. So back then, even if there was an entrepreneur class, if there was an entrepreneurship course at any college, I'm sure anyone curious about those classes were not encouraged to take it. Because how many people do you have around you that have been successful entrepreneurs that are going to see, oh, absolutely take that class. Look at me. We don't know that many people like that.
They had that class.
Unless you're an entrepreneur,
right? But at Clark, that was one of the cohorts. I mean, the classes, not even the classes, the degrees was an entrepreneurship degree, and I was just looking at that like, I'm no shade. I would not go to school for entrepreneurial degree.
Oh no.
Because it's not teaching you. You can go into marketing and do marketing, and then learn that and learn what you need to learn and as an entrepreneur from marketing. So it's just a lot that people don't realize and don't know yet. So okay, so now before we kind of close it out, I do want to bring people to the current, right? I know we talked about a lot of the past and like what you've been, where you've been in your journey and through your lens and how you've conquered all of these things. But where are you now, and what's the one thing or the major thing that you're working on right now that you want people to know?
Man, that I want people to know? I don't know. I don't want people to know nothing.
Yeah,
I think I've been working for myself for the past going on 6 years now. Got laid off during the pandemic. I think I was working for the union for 5 years. That was my last job. The Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, also known as SAG-AFTRA. And that was my that was the best music job that I had. And people may be like, music, that's the actors union, right? And it's like, well, that's really why I got the job, because people didn't know that the union actually represented recording artists. So I got laid off while I was there. My role in my role, I was responsible for working collaboratively with the Government Affairs and Public Policy Department at SAG-AFTRA on policy, statutory policy, and federal policy.
Wow.
On Capitol Hill. So I, was involved with the Music Modernization Act, which is passed for some years now, and I was working with. Also working on what is called right of publicity. Looked that up in New York and Louisiana, which are hands down my two favorite cities besides home, Los Angeles, the birthplace of, hip hop, and the hotbed of jazz. So anyway, I had an opportunity to work on historical projects like that, and some of the work that I did at SAG-AFTRA allowed me to impress, my fingerprints on the story and success of some of those bills. Music Modernization Act. I'm not taking any credit for it, but I had to represent the union as an organizer in lobbying for that bill to be passed, and had to do the same thing in Louisiana and New York and right of publicity, and those bills are now law. And I had the great opportunity of working with some world-class artists and getting them to advocate for those bills, or to at least lift a hand and say, call me where you need me. So anyway, when I got laid off with some 200 plus people at SAG-AFTRA during the pandemic, I just easily transitioned into, working independently. And that has just been a creative experience.
Working independently is different nowadays too.
Oh yeah, like I'm not alone. Yeah. It is. I was doing much of what I'm doing now on the side when I was working at SAG-AFTRA, and what I'm doing now is I primarily, manage and advise, songwriters and producers, and artists, primarily in the New Orleans area. In bounce, in bounce music. Like that's a niche that I fell in love with back in 1997 in Lake Charles, Louisiana, when I was on tour on a day off with New Edition. And that love that I met on the dance floor one night in Lake Charles never left me. And I've just built some relationships with, some very well respected local producers out there that are heavily regarded in bounce music. One of my producers, Black and Mild, won a Grammy as a credited writer on Beyonce's "Break My Soul" a couple years ago. That was huge. He produced a couple of records for Drake and a host of others, Megan Thee Stallion, and so I've been working with him and other artists and stuff like that. I think that's been the music stuff that I've been doing. But more than anything, my main objective is to continue moving forward with my documentary formatted properties. There's stories to be told about the art from a perspective that I think is unique, and many people around me, if they're not lying in my face, they believe is unique as well. So I'm learning and being taught how to navigate the TV and film space right now. And with these powerhouses that's buying up everything, that doesn't make the job easier. But that's, one of my focuses. I created a brand called Closed Rehearsals,
Mm.
which is a celebration of everyone, everyone that is behind the superstardom of today and yesterday's music performing artists that tour.
Nice. Nice.
So that's something that I have been developing. The whole concept of Closed Rehearsals is born out of a docuseries that I wrote years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not the same docuseries that I was talking about earlier, but this is another one, and I thought that maybe there is a pathway to create a brand that celebrates these people that they can wear in their back and wear in their chests. And it celebrates the artists, to the creative director, to the choreographer, to the professional dancers, to the makeup artist, to the costume designer, to the lighting director. I can go on and on. The people that are the people that I was observing behind the scenes as a dancer, it celebrates those folks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Full circle moment for you.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. I can talk about a whole bunch of things. One of the things about being independent and being an entrepreneur is that you literally can decide, I want to do this. Let me see how this works. Let me see. Okay. Oh, I got this idea. All right. Adobe Photoshop is me and you all day. Or Adobe Express is me and you all, or Firefly now is me and you all day. And, I'm skilled in those applications. So any idea that I come up with, I don't necessarily have to call a graphic designer who I respect more than my skill set, but I have the ability to develop my ideas at will.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to answer to anybody about that. And I don't mind answering to anybody, but when it comes to ideas and creativity and vision and, the ambition that it takes to push it forward, it feels really good to say, man, I want to come up with a brand called Cool Ass Black Woman. Well, what is it? I'm gonna figure it out. Don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you. I'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm doing today is still in the music and media space. Most of it is behind the scenes. I have, over the past couple of years, for therapy, gone back to where I came from. And I have been, taking acting classes from a well-respected acting coach. And I'm just doing that because I owe that to myself, because I abandoned that years ago. And so I had been doing that. So I've just, I think I got some pretty cool stuff going, and thank God some of the right people fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
And, and people still return my phone calls.
Mm.
And those people, I expect them to, because they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were talking earlier. I know a whole bunch of people in this business. I only have a couple friends, because anybody can know everybody. And it's easy to know people in this business. But, I have some friends that I lean on to smack me in the face and be like, Craig, you tripping. That ain't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't hear that too often. Either people are intimidated by me, or people like lying to me, or they really do believe that, no, this is, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need from me? How can I assist? So today I'm still in the music space.
Not too bad.
My goal is to, move forward and reach a couple of finish lines in the original audiovisual content space, specifically in documentaries. Documentary formatted content, let me call it that. I think the term documentaries has been watered down and kind of somehow diluted with reality TV, and I don't want no parts of that. I don't have anything against that. That's not what I'm doing.
Right.
I want to celebrate and I want to celebrate, and educate arts and entertainment from perspectives that I feel have not been effectively pursued yet. And I think people will like it because it's the stories are about what they already know, but it's just being told from a perspective that they probably didn't realize
that it was even that it was even happening.
Right. And what inspires them? This dude that used to be a dancer and choreographer and dance instructor that somehow snuck himself into the music industry as an experiment and ended up working at 2 of the majors and then working for the largest entertainment union in the world, who was also a tour manager for the likes of Talib Kweli and High Tech.
That's cool.
I mean, we didn't talk about everything, but all of these things happened, and my heart tells me that there are stories that can be told, not about the people, but about the art. And if you tell the stories right about the art, you're going to lift the people behind it. And these stories will live forever. And I think that I've been fortunate enough to have a journey that has instilled in me storytelling ability that can be entertaining, that will put butts in couches or in theater seats to sit down and applaud these stories. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I have a skincare product that's been doing fairly well for the past 3 years now, called Emoliate. We're sold primarily here in Los Angeles, and Simply Wholesome is our number 1 retailer. And that is just a product that was born out of curiosity.
Come on, creative.
So I encourage people to
explore their creativity.
Do that. Get a sketch pad and a pencil and sketch. And if that sketch pad and that pencil comes in the form of being an essayist and you writing essays about whatever you want to do, that, or if it is, I want to create my own brand, I want to create my own product, or do it. Do it. Do it. I don't, maybe, okay, you may not become a millionaire tomorrow. It may not be 5 years.
No, but it's satisfying. It's satisfying because one of the things that I pride myself on is not feeling like I regret that I didn't do something. So I think that falls under the line of how you were saying you went from, dancing to the entertainment business to college. You didn't regret anything.
Nah. No.
That was just a part of the journey, and it just didn't pan out how you wanted it to pan out.
Nah. And thank God it didn't. If
right.
If I got what I wanted when I graduated from high school, which was to be, which I thought was to be whatever star, actor, whatever, I would have been a wreck. I would have destroyed people. I was too immature to get that then. And I wouldn't have been able to sit here and tell this colorful story.
Right. Because this is your journey through your lens, and and that's essentially why I'm bringing the people that that have helped guide me in my journey to the forefront to talk about what life is like through their lens, because at some point there's this advice I've gotten, and this advice has helped me. And to know that it's okay to be so colorful when I come from a family or just come from a background where it's black and white. Right?
Yeah.
Where I move like this and everybody's like,
yeah.
So I'm glad that you were able to, share your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for being vulnerable enough to even share that. Because, you're like, well, I've lived that. I don't need to tell that story, but people want to know, believe it or not. Believe it or not, we want to know. So, again, thank you.
Nah, thank you. I appreciate the question about being a legend. I don't know if I'm a legend, but legend has the word legend has very many meanings, and this story is my legend.
Well, thank you for bringing yourself back to the beginning. Now, okay, so look, so now that we're here, tell people why you think that you're a cool ass black man. Legend.
Oh, man, why am I cool? You know what? Why am I a cool ass black man? I'm a cool ass black man because I wear my beginnings on my chest. Mm-hmm. So I am my mom and my dad's son. Mm-hmm. I am grateful for the experience that I've had in this world, being raised by them in the environment that I was raised in. You know, the ups and downs. My dad was a dialysis patient for 26 years. His kidneys failed. You know, my mom had to, hold the weight, had to carry the weight because my dad couldn't go to work, and my mom came here as an immigrant, and that wasn't the plan. But shit happens. So my dad got my mom to the country from Panama. He was going to go to work. He got sick. Guess who had to go to work?
She did.
She did. I'm a cool ass black man because, I grew up in that environment. I grew up in a neighborhood, that was infested with, gangs and drugs in certain pockets of the neighborhood. I don't want to make it seem as dark as some people like to romanticize. But nah, I grew up, there was a crack house upstairs. And then when they moved out, the crackheads moved in. But I'm a cool ass black man because my mom and dad raised us in that environment, protected us successfully from it, and taught us how to make decisions that would guard us from some of the pitfalls of the things that we witnessed growing up. I'm a cool ass black man because I'm not apologizing about that. While I love everybody, no matter where you're from. I'm a cool ass black man because I know my failures and I talk about my failures. I'm a cool ass black man because I use those failures to tell the next man, don't make that decision because this is how it can likely pan out. Trust me. And I'm a living embodiment of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
It was giving real poetic right there. You was going.
I was waxing poetic.
Giving poetic.
Yeah, so I think that'll work, right?
That's gonna work because that's what it is. That's if that's what you feel that it means to be a cool ass black man, then that's your definition. That's why I created it. I created it because
you define it. You define who that is. Yeah.
It's I was having this season on a podcast. I was speaking with Bose, and she was like, and she was like, "Yo, the saying on that shirt is just it's undeniable. It says what it needs to say. There's no question. You have to worry about.
Yeah.
And then you define it after that. Because however this next person see it, like how people are looking at it on my chest, like, oh, well, what makes her a cool ass black woman? But don't I look cool?
You cool. You're all right.
Some days. Depends on. Ask Smokey. Not just kidding. Well, I want to say thank you. I usually, first and foremost, thank you for taking your time, telling the story, inspiring others, being an inspiration to me.
No doubt.
Being an inspiration. And, being a wise person in my corner that will tell me to get your ass up and stop playing. Or I know you're creative, but go get to the bag. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. If there's one thing that you can say, that you can say to your younger self, what would that be?
Don't be afraid of shit.
Mm.
I mean, you use that word vulnerability. Like all of what I say that I'm doing, there's fear, either speckled in it or in the wrong seat, too far up in the front. And that's something that I still deal with to this day. Part of that is I don't, I know who my friends are. I have a motto: I've never lost a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do believe that I've never lost a friend. You don't lose friends. That's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Friends are forever, right? But, everyone's not your friend. And everyone's not thinking about being friendly to you. So all of the things that I say that I'm doing, they require people.
Mm-hmm.
They require the contribution or the involvement of someone else. And many of our challenges as entrepreneurs or even as an employee someplace of progressing or getting to the next level, that can be effectuated by another person.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell my younger self, be fearless. And I cannot say that I have been a fearless person. I'll walk in the room with my chin up or whatever, but I'm apprehensive because I've seen the ugly that people are.
Mm-hmm.
In this business, some of the executives that we celebrate, some of them are just ugly people, very, very ugly people. They look awesome in, Billboard and hits and variety features because publicists are really good. But there's some people that are in powerful positions that are ugly. And if you don't believe me, look at what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I fear crossing people, and I fear being crossed. And there's nothing I could do about that fear because people are going to do what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would tell the younger me, all of what you dream, all of what you're doing, go get that. Go do it. Go pursue it all indiscriminately, but don't do so with fear. And that fear that I have, I know where that fear comes from. I won't discuss that right now, but I know exactly where it comes from. So the younger me would have recognized then, before I allowed it to fester and to become part of my challenge to this day. And this is what makes me as imperfect as anybody else.
I love that. That was some great wise wisdom right there.
Thanks.
That was good.
I'll be trying to say smart stuff every now and then.
I know sometimes. Thank you. Well, I thank you again. I'm going to continue to say thank you. Let people know where they can find you.
Follow me on Instagram if you feel like being bored. My Instagram is by_twice__Craig. by__Craig, CRAIG. That's me at Instagram. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
And do you do TikTok?
I have a TikTok. I started to do some stuff on TikTok.
It's a little difficult.
I love TikTok. Maybe I'll do something on it. I feel like on TikTok I need to step my visual content up for that space. And
that's another step.
And I don't want to be whack. and I need to be in consistency is required if you don't want to be whack. So TikTok requires dedication.
That's a fact.
So I love the platform. I've done stuff there before. I've gotten some good traction there, but it's like, I'll be trying not to be certain people.
And we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Well, thank you. I usually close out the podcast with a Dear Ashley segment. Thank you for being the second guy on the Cool Ass Black Woman podcast. So every episode I do a Dear Ashley segment, and in this Dear Ashley segment, I'm speaking to my younger self.
Okay.
So here we go. Dear Ashley, every L is not a loss, it's a lesson. It's a lesson learned that you can use as a foundation. So take that and run with it. And for that, we love you. I love you. Thank you again. Thank you for stopping by the Cool Ass Black Woman podcast, and I'll see you soon.